Breaking news out of Los Angeles. And this one's flying way under the radar. While everyone's talking about big names and flashy signings, something much more strategic is happening behind the scenes with the Chargers. What if I told you the most promising wide receiver on the roster right now wasn't even drafted? Stay tuned, because this story could completely flip what you think you know about the Chargers' offense. But before we dive into this game-changing update, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit that bell icon so you never miss the biggest NFL stories before they go mainstream. Alright, let's get into it. They're not talking about it openly, but something bold is happening inside the Chargers training camp. While the front office searches for a veteran wide receiver and fans hope for a return of names like Keenan Allen or Jawan Jennings, a quiet shakeup is already in motion. This isn't about injuries or emergencies. This feels planned. It's like the coaching staff is pulling off a stealth move, one that could change everything. The kind of move that doesn't make headlines until it works. Enter Sha Jackson, a name few have heard, but that might be about to explode. He went undrafted in 2024, had a short stint with the Patriots, showed a flash with a highlight touchdown in preseason, then gone, injured, forgotten, but not to Jim Harbaugh. See, Harbaugh doesn't care about height, he cares about fit. And Sha Jackson fits the mold. 6'1", real speed, and he's been putting in serious work at practice. On Friday, when the Chargers tested 3 wideouts, Kate Johnson, Jim Reed, and Jackson, only one made the cut. Only one stood out. That was Sha. Now take a closer look at the roster. Jalen Reagor? Still not practicing. Luke Grimm? Sidelined with an injury. Mike Williams? Unexpected retirement. Offensive lineman Elijah Ellis? Waived to make room. All signs point to one thing. Harbaugh is retooling this offense, quietly, but intentionally. Less protection, more speed, more firepower. And if you know how the NFL works, none of these decisions are random. When a coach like Jim Harbaugh makes a move that looks small on the surface, don't be fooled. That's usually the sign of something big brewing underneath. Sha Jackson wasn't brought in to just warm the bench or take up space. No, he's here to make people uncomfortable, to shake up the pecking order, to challenge guys who thought their jobs were safe. And here's where things get interesting. This move didn't happen in a vacuum. It came right after a stretch of intense practices, and from the way the staff was watching, it was clear. They're asking one question: who actually deserves to wear the Chargers colors? Harbaugh doesn't hand out positions. He makes players fight for them. This is earn every inch football. And right now, the wide receiver room isn't being built with headlines in mind. It's being built with grit, competition, and pressure. While fans wait for some flashy signing, the real insiders, they know better. The Chargers might not be hunting for the big names at all. They could already be crafting an all-new receiving core, made up of guys no one's tracking. Jackson might just be the first clue. And the best part? The fans aren't even paying attention yet. The reactions so far? They shrug. But that's how quiet genius works. You don't notice it until it smacks you in the face. Don't be surprised if Jackson gets his first real moment under the lights in the Hall of Fame game and looks like he's belonged there all along. The Chargers are testing their limits, not publicly, but behind closed doors. And the only question now is, how far are they willing to go? Because if they're right about this group, the entire NFL might have missed what Harbaugh's been quietly building. Every season, there's always one name that comes out of nowhere. This year, the Chargers might have 2. Everyone's watching Luke Grimm, the undrafted underdog who's been catching eyes at camp. But while fans were busy rooting for Grimm, someone else started rising, slowly, silently, until now, when it's impossible to ignore. Devin Campbell. You probably don't know that name. And honestly, you're not alone. He didn't have a breakout college career. No viral plays. No draft buzz. Devin Campbell's journey? Quiet. He played at Illinois, then Nevada, then wrapped up at South Carolina. In 2022, he posted 38 catches for 459 yards, decent numbers, nothing flashy. The kind that slip past headlines. But now, he's doing something that stats can't explain. Campbell stands 6'4", and when he steps onto the field, He looks like he belongs. He moves with confidence. He talks like a leader. And most importantly, he's taking first-team reps at practice. That's not a coincidence. And that's definitely not for show. Because with Jim Harbaugh, you don't get those reps unless you've earned them. Campbell isn't running drills for the sake of it. He's running routes with Justin Herbert. That's not a tryout, that's a signal. And it's not just about size, it's about connection. At practice, Campbell and Herbert are starting to develop something that's impossible to fake: rhythm, slants, out routes, short timing patterns. Campbell's catching everything, clean, sharp, in stride. And the coaches? They're noticing how quickly he's learning the system. In a room that just lost Mike Williams, and still isn't completely sold on Quentin Johnston, that kind of reliability matters more than ever. Here's the twist. While most people are focused on bigger names like Ladd McConkey, Trey Harris, or KeAndre Lambert Smith, Campbell's the one quietly earning the spotlight from the inside out. Guys in the locker room can feel it. When an undrafted player starts taking starter snaps, it sends a message. The competition is real. The energy shifts. Every rep becomes more intense. Every receiver starts glancing over their shoulder. And while fans were hoping for big moves, maybe even a reunion with Keenan Allen or a spark from Jauan Jennings, Harbaugh did what few coaches have the nerve to do. He turned inward. He's not chasing hype. He's challenging his own team. Who wants it more? Who's rising to the moment? Who's hungry enough to take what's not given? So far, Campbell's the one stepping up, and fans are starting to notice. Comments, forums, social media, the same question keeps popping up. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? And is he for real? He goes by the Jet, and he's not waiting on anyone's approval. This Thursday, in the Hall of Fame game, we could see the moment it all changes. If Campbell performs like he has in practice, if he shows up under the lights, then the Chargers may have found something they didn't even know they were looking for. How do you not keep this guy? That's the question now hanging over the Chargers front office. They're standing at a crossroads. One path leads to the usual, chasing familiar names, veteran safety nets, and public approval. The other, trusting their instincts and going all in on raw, unproven talent. And from what we're seeing, Jim Harbaugh has already chosen his direction. This isn't just about Devin Campbell anymore. It's about a shift in the entire mindset of the organization. It's about building something new, something that's not shaped by media pressure or past expectations. Campbell didn't light up the college world. He didn't go viral on draft night. But maybe this is the exact moment he was built for. Because when you find a player who steps up in the middle of chaos, when everything around him is uncertain, that's a sign. And right now, the rest of the NFL better start paying attention. What looked like a crisis a few weeks ago might have just been the setup for something bold. When Mike Williams suddenly retired on the very first day of training camp, it stunned everyone. Not because we didn't expect it. His injury history was no secret, but because of how it happened. He was back. And then, just like that, he wasn't. No farewell. No warning. Just silence. And that silence, it created panic. The rumors started flooding in. Is Keenan Allen coming back? Could Jauan Jennings be traded for? Are the Chargers meeting with veteran receivers? Fans were on edge. And who could blame them? Williams wasn't just a deep threat. He was the anchor. The guy who demanded double teams before the ball was even snapped. Losing him wasn't just a physical hit. It was psychological. But the Chargers didn't panic. There were no emergency signings. No splashy headlines. Just calm. Controlled. And maybe a little too quiet. And that's when people started whispering. Do they know something we don't? Turns out, maybe they did. You just had to look at the 5th round of the draft. KeAndre Lambert Smith, a receiver most experts called a developmental project, is now lining up like the replacement for Mike Williams. Not officially, of course. But watch closely, in practice, in reps, in usage, and the picture becomes clear. Lambert Smith isn't just fast, clocking a 4.37 in the 40. He's 6'1", built like a true outside target, and has that ability to explode past coverage. But what's more impressive, he understands the moment. He's not overwhelmed by the size of the shoes he's trying to fill. In fact, He looks like he's ready to step right into them. And the response has been electric. Within days, he's turned heads in the building, from coaches to teammates to fans. On Wednesday, during 7-on-7 drills, he lined up against Dane Leonard on a go route. Trey Lance underthrew it. Bad placement. Let me know when you're ready for the final section, and I'll keep this story rolling strong. Lambert Smith didn't just catch the ball. He adjusted in midair, tracked it perfectly, and came down with it like he'd done it 100 times before. That's not just raw talent. That's feel. That's understanding the moment, the pressure, and still making the play. And that was only one rep. Afterward, offensive coordinator Greg Roman didn't hold back. He said, "He made adjustments today. You don't teach that. That comes from within." That quote spread fast, because when a coach like Roman speaks like that, publicly, it means something's shifting. Something's about to open up. And here's the wild part. Lambert Smith barely practiced this spring. He was still recovering from injury. No chemistry with the quarterback. No real prep time. Yet here he is, catching up at full speed and making every rep count. Now, here's the twist no one saw coming. The Chargers may have lost Mike Williams, but they might have replaced him without lifting a finger. No trades, no headlines, no panic, just belief in a rookie who showed up hungry and is now devouring every opportunity in front of him. If Lambert Smith brings this same energy into the Hall of Fame game, the conversation shifts completely. It's no longer about who replaces Mike Williams. It becomes, who's going to stop KeAndre Lambert Smith from becoming WR1 on day one? And here's what the insiders already know. The Chargers aren't about chaos. They don't respond with knee-jerk signings. They build, slowly, quietly, intentionally. So maybe, just maybe, Mike Williams leaving wasn't the beginning of a problem. Maybe it was the final setup for something bigger. His last assist to the team, making space for a player nobody was watching. But now, nobody can ignore. Because this story isn't about star power anymore. It's about instincts, grit, doing the work when the cameras aren't rolling. While the rest of the league chases splashy names and headline trades, the Chargers are doing something far more dangerous. They're building in silence. They're betting on the overlooked, the undrafted, the guys with something to prove. And maybe that's why it's working. So here's the question. What's scarier? A team stacked with stars, or a locker room full of underdogs who are all fighting to prove they belong? Right now, the Chargers aren't rebuilding. They're starving.